Hey everyone, it's Divine Readings with a Gypsy, and I have a deck review today. I'm kind of gonna go back to basics a little bit and do a proper deck reviews. Oh my goodness! I kind of got the trend going with the Morgan's Tarot, and I'm gonna try to stay strictly on the symbolism and deck reviews and blah 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 blah. And what I feel from the energy of the decks and the deck reviews and blah 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 blah. So on and so forth. Alright, and today I'm going to do a deck review of a deck that I've been using for about a good solid month now. Almost hardcorely. And that is the Pagan Otherworlds Tarot. And when you get the Pagan Otherworlds Tarot, it's an indie deck, by the way, and it's about $50, no shipping. I was surprised when I went to check out of the Uzi's website for the Pagan Otherworlds. The shipping was not included, and it was a flat $50. And I went, maybe I should have bought another deck for them. Oh well, I probably will if they still have the Brute Tarot or some of the other Pagan playing card decks and stuff like that. I would probably, and they give you a nice personalized thank you note. I formerly like to be called Evie, even though I have my name out there now. And it comes into this beautiful box, like so, and it will have the seal and things like that. And actually, it has a saying on the inside lid of the box. However, if you've noticed, I have not opened up and cracked my seal. I think inside the lid it says, "The future enters you." So I think that's what it says inside the lid, if I remember watching other people's videos. And it's very shiny, very pretty. And I'll show you the extra cards since I keep it separately from my deck. It comes with the beautiful, moon cards, moon cards. I actually been meaning to put this on my altar space so that I could use the moon phases on my altar space, because I think that's what I will use these extra moon cards for, is my moon phase times and things like that, of that nature. And I've been doing a very terrible job doing my moon cycles because I'm a bad pagan. Hashtag bad pagan. But, this is also another extra card that comes with the deck, and it's the Secret card. And I actually was going to keep this card in my deck, and I actually have read several readings with this card in my deck. However, I mostly keep the extra. I'm a person that usually keeps the extra cards in my deck. I am an extra cards person because I think it gives you just juicy extra buffoons in your reading and things like that. It just gives you that extra voice in that reading, or in a tarot spread and tarot, extra card. I think that's why I'm a pro extra card person. However, the reason why I decided to take out this extra card, even though it's wonderful, it's beautiful, has the infinity symbol on it, it actually has some other symbolisms of extra cards that I really do like, and I actually very much admired the Uzi family. I don't know if that's your real name or not, but I really do like that. However, just me personally, as a tarot reader, this energy did not gel with my readings. Even though I very much love extra cards, and I'm an extra card person. And that's the box that it would come in, if you so desire to store it in the box. And if you don't decide to store it in the box, they come with a beautiful Uzi bag. They also come with this beautiful bag. They also come with a very pretty sage thing. And I'm also expecting my mom today, so I'm also going like a deer. Deer. Terrible. I'm sorry. But this is the deck and the beautiful backings, and it's actually playing card size, and it has the beautifulest linen finish I ever did see. And I think that the faces in this deck, as far as the sun and moon faces, are beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. And I'm kind of glad that they didn't go on face overkill, too, because, and like that card, for an example. It is a Pippi deck. It is I would consider this deck an illustrated Pippi deck. I think they only made, I don't know how many copies they've made of this deck, so I don't know how many editions are out there. So I don't know how long it's going to be available, and I don't know how many people are going to eat it up, and things like that nature. But I love the muted oil colors of this deck. I do not have a Norse Pagan deck, so to speak. So, and I feel like this deck really replaces that need of having a Norse Pagan deck, so to speak. I don't feel after this having this deck need of having a Norse Pagan deck. You know, like I need something that matches my belief systems and things like that, because I know they have a lot of Wiccan tarots. They have the Ellen Dugan deck, and I think that's a little bit more Wiccan based, and they have the Druidcraft tarot that's more Celtic based if you're into the Celtic practices and things like that. I kind of was hankering for a Norse Pagan deck, and I think even Miss Ellie from Sacred Seed was having that hunger too. This is my absolute favorite Empress card, and she has all those beautiful symbolisms for Empress and things like that, and I love her wand staff too. Focus, camera, focus. The one thing I don't like about this webcam camera on my pad or laptop, it doesn't pick up the details very well. It doesn't do it justice. And it's kind of the core cards and the, what I love about this deck as well is the core cards and the major arcana of this deck is very, I love the bears in this deck, by the way, too. Bear is my soul animal energy too, one of my soul animals, so that's another reason what drew me to this deck. It has a lot of bear energy. What I was going to say, the major arcanas and the core cards of this deck is very, whereas the minors are very not Marseille. The minors are very writers, illustrator, Rider-Waite-Smith, Pips. Whereas the majors like this and the core cards are a little bit more Marseille traditionally, more of a pose. When I say that a deck is when I say that a deck's major arcana and the court cards are Marseille-like, that means that they are not like action poses or extra colorings and extra characters that kind of went, beam bada boom kind of stuff. They don't have, it's very, very, very strictly traditional. Like this is, I would say, is a very traditional depiction of the wheel card, and this is, and whereas the minors here are a lot more Rider-Waite-Smith. You could just look at this and go, oh, it's a Four of Wands, and it's like the marriage card, or it's the party card, it's the card of that kind of harmony and things like that, kind of stuff. And this is another reason why I think this is my Norse Pagan deck, because this kind of looks like Thor riding his goats that he eats after every journey. It's Norse paganism has its sense of humor, and I love it, and that's another reason why I love it so much. Aside from the structure of what I really do like it about Norse paganism too, and I love the women in this deck because they're very, very, they're not supermodels. They're kind of very primitive, I think that's the word I'm looking for. They're very, very humble looking. They're not going to be the supermodels at all. And I love the color of the ocean and the clouds in this card. And even the Emperor card, I like his sage look. Even though, where was the Hierophant in this deck? I know that the Emperor card looked a little bit more Hierophant-y. I know the, what was the, hold on 1 second, everybody. Just trying to look to see the Hierophant and do a comparison, because I've actually been meaning to do that. I keep pulling the Emperor card and I'm like, that looks a little Hierophant-y to me. Where's that Hierophant? Ah! Hierophant. I wish they had a little bit of a... This is the Emperor card, by the way, and this is the Hierophant. I wish they had a little... Judith. I wish they did have... The only complaint I do have is they didn't have a little flippy white book. Because... I guess I could see it, where he could be a Hierophant, but, I don't see him being a Hierophant as much as a... I don't see him as being an Emperor as much as a Hierophant. I see him more as a Hierophant than he is, and I see him perhaps being a little bit more of an Emperor than he is. I don't know. I would love Uzi to tell to me and let me know about that, because he looks very, very... Yeah, he could look like the king of the world, and he looks like he's the master of his universe, but I kind of like a little bit deeper symbolism, and he looks more like a farmer. You know, he's kind of has that farmer-ness to him, or a peasantry to him. And I don't see the shaman in him, whereas I see more of the shaman in him. I guess that's the only complaint I ever had in this deck, is that this looks a lot more shamanistic than he is, and working with these two cards and stuff, it does throw me off, because I instinctively want to look at the Emperor card and say, oh, Hierophant, and I would look at the key and then I look at the Hierophant card, and I don't associate that instantly, and, you know, it's like that instant registering in your head that it's, oh, that's a Hierophant, oh, that's the Emperor. No, I don't get that with those two cards. That's probably my only complaint about this deck, as far as actually reading with it goes. Although this deck does a very good, this voice of this deck is very masculine, I think. Even though it's a very beautiful bag, and I think it's very, very linen-y and has some feminine features, I think it has more of a masculine voice. And if you say, what's the voice of this deck? The voice of this deck, I think general readings is more of this voice. It's gonna kind of say, although it's a very blunt voice, you know, even though it's a general reading deck, I think, it does very good general readings. I did a general reading on my mother, and I've actually done a lot of, for my Etsy shop, I've did a photo shoot with this deck to be, as my, deck to, not really to promote, but, promote, but, it's such a clean-cut deck that I felt very confident enough to do a photo shoot for my Etsy account for people who want to do readings from me, as far as, tarot readings. And if they wanted to request a deck and say, oh, that deck that you did a photo shoot with, I can pull out this one. So I know which one they're talking about and things like that. So I don't feel like I have to list all my decks that they could, but I love this deck. I love doing general readings with this deck. This deck has is a good voice for general readings. But although I do think, boo-boo, boo-boo, the mommy talkie. This deck has. I love the butterflies in this, by the way. General readings. I love the general readings of this deck, and this is my card for this year. And I actually did my year spread, mixing and matching with between my different tarot decks, since I have different tarot decks. But this is very traditional Rider-Waite-Smith. General readings. It's a very blunt voice, though. If you wanted a more of a generator talking about this is what you really need to focus on, I think this deck has that voice. It's kind of more like that paternal voice to him. I kind of even view this deck as a he versus a she. That I don't usually gender associate my decks, but this has a very he voice. With the divine masculine this to this deck, whereas I don't think it doesn't really have that nurturing motherly sense to me, although I do love like I said, I just love the general readings this deck gives, and I love the simplicity of the core cards. I actually kind of do like the simplicity of the minor cards too. It's kind of reminds me of a Rider-Waite-Smith clone in its own right, but it also has this old Marseille, old world traditionalness to it too that I really very much love when it comes to the tarot deck. I'm going to try to flip through the cards real quick. I kind of wish I could do a little bit more specific symbolisms of every single card that I've noticed and things like that, and I know that makes it the best kind of deck review. And because I love to watch deck reviews based on what they could grab out of this. Like I would say that the King of Pentacles has a ram on his head, and I kind of prefer that to be on the wands and stuff, but that's me being nitpicky. There's some things that I could say that are nitpicky about this deck, but I have to but with myself with this. There are some things that I can be very nitpicky about this deck, like the symbolisms of I rather this card had this in it, and like the Emperor card and the Hierophant card that I just mentioned earlier. There are things about this deck that I wish I, could be nitpicky on. But above all, this is one of my favorite top 10 favorite decks. I'm going to do a top 10 favorite decks video here eventually. I am. And separate from the Kelly's top 5 deck challenge, and separate from the Bust Me Open challenge too, even though a lot of my favorite decks are in those videos, I feel like I just bought and acquired so many decks since then that I would include in my top 10 favorite decks. And this one has definitely made that list. This is definitely going to be my favorite go-to decks. Like, I have no complaints about some of the major symbolisms in these cards. I love the pippiness of this card. I don't understand people's arguments against the Judgment card, the traditionalness of a Judgment card. I like the originality of a Judgment card too, but I love the traditional sense of a Judgment card. I love that. Love that. Oh my god, he's my favorite Knight of Wands ever. Can I just say that? He's riding a fucking stag. I love this as far as home. Yeah, like what I said about the women in the stag, it's very, very I love the depictions that they're not supermodels. I love this card. Now, this is a card that I am going to probably debate about and pull out when I'm going to do my Mythical Creatures Tarot unboxing sometime this month. As of November 10th, I still have not got my Mythical Creatures Tarot that Baba Studios has promised. Come on, you could put it in your mouth. you could put it in your mouth. But this is the one that, okay, this is the one card that I could debate about. I want my Mythical Creatures Tarot to compare this full card with that full card. Because Baba Studios have not released too many images of their Mythical Creatures Tarot during the pre-order processes and things like that. But this is one of the images that they did release, which is their full card. And I have to say, I think the resemblance is a little too uncanny. But I'll wait till the deck comes in and see what I feel from there. But that's for another video. And that's for another topic. Man, I love that. The colors in this deck is not even coming up on the webcam. It's not even coming up on camera. Can't even describe. I love the faces in him. Oh my god, he looks so much like a devil. I like his bear on him. Beautiful Justice card. And lastly, we have the Page of Wands. He's a very foresty Page of Wands. And that's the Pagan Otherworlds in 20 minutes. I say for $50 with no shipping or handling with the deck, that's a fucking deal in itself. And it actually came in a pretty reasonable time, too. It came in about within, I think, 3 days of purchase or 4 days of purchase. Too, so that's something to consider as well. Is that the shipping time and the fact that the shipping is not even part of the deck. I don't know if they have a minimum purchase amount for free shipping or whatever, and I exceeded that minimum purchase amount or something like that. But I would kind of wish that I did have the finances and did have the finances to invest in some of their other decks. And this is a deck that I feel okay to rifle shuffle, by the way. I don't usually rifle shuffle my indie decks. But, let me see if I can rifle shuffle where you guys can see. That is a beautiful rifle shuffle. I don't rifle shuffle my indie decks. And the only indie decks I rifle shuffle is my Terra Prague, which I have a second edition of this deck. And that's about it. I think I do rifle shuffle some of my other ones, but for different reasons and stuff. So, yeah, the cardstock, the linen, it's the kind of cardstock that Judith's grandchildren is probably going to still be able to shuffle like I just did and be able to read it just fine. That, to me, is quality in a cardstock. I wish deck creators paid a little bit more attention to the cardstock. Baba Studios, they pay attention to the detail down to the cardstock, too, and their carbon cardstocks. I've noticed that when I goofed up on my Terra Prague and try to resalvage my deck, the printing on the Terra Prague is a little fragile. That might wear out in time, I've noticed. As far as this deck goes, oh my god, if every deck creator made their cardstock like this, I would buy every single deck, rebuy all my decks over again. What? That's a beautiful sound. I guarantee you, your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren will still be able to read with this deck. Yes, maybe the edges might be a little dirty, and maybe it might have some fraying and things like that on the edges and stuff like that. But I guarantee you, with this cardstock, your great-grandchildren will still be able to read with this deck. That is truly, truly a wonder of the world, in my opinion, of tarot reading. Because I still, and this is me rifle shuffling it too, and I still feel like this deck could be passed on, because I know that one of my girls, at least, one of them is going to be interested in tarot, and one of them, and especially for a limited edition deck and things like that, they're going to want a piece of that. It's a heritage then. It becomes a heritage. A tarot deck then becomes a heritage after an X amount of years and an X amount of time. And one of my girls being interested in tarot, when they grow older or have an interest in tarot, it's going to be a heritage that they're going to want to pass on too. And I feel like this deck can make that heritage. In that case, I say a rating system 1 through 5. I say this deck is a solid 5, and you cannot go without this deck. I feel like that this is a deck that everybody should have in their collection, but that's also a personal opinion in itself. I love the energy. I love the energies of this deck. Calm down, boo-boo. I love the energies. I love the fact that the card stock is so perfect, and I think the price is right for the quality this deck has and what you get with the deck. Bags, collector's box, personalized notes, even a little hint of sage in their packaging. What can you... It's ridiculous. And that, my friends, is my video review today.